Hey Angel, you did a great job on your video. I wanted to thank you for creating such an emphasis on making sure we have a great assessment and we have really good pinpointing questions and quite a variety of them to make sure that we can properly diagnose and treat these diagnoses, these different disorders. And so I'm thinking also because the overlapping features that cause us to have issues on diagnosis and treatment. So the personality cluster B, it's harder to diagnose, I believe, because there are so many features and there are so many similar overlapping features as well. And it makes it difficult to differentiate the different aspects of diagnosing because of this. And I really liked that you added the series of unfortunate events with Jim Carrey, that movie that they made the series over, because I thought that was very interesting. And now I want to watch that. And my mind immediately went to the Joker. So I just wanted to look that up. I wanted to look up what personality disorder do I properly think he has. And it's hard because there are so many. First of all, it's a fictional character. And second of all, there's so many different deviations of his personality across films, portrayed on comics. But if we look at it comprehensively, it does suggest that he has psychopathy, narcissistic personality disorder, potentially a history of a traumatic brain injury, which was very interesting too, leading to conditions like pseudo Dolabar effect, while some other lean towards borderline personality disorder, which is what I had originally thought possibly. The absence of a consistent narration means there's a really, to make a defined, definitive, like absolute diagnosis is kind of impossible. And so it's like a portrayal of a man with a history of childhood trauma. So it does contribute a lot to his mental state, and the interpretation is really hard because of the different deviations or different parts of his personality and portrayals of it. So it is very fascinating because all in all, there's a breakdown of the psychopathy and narcissistic personality disorder. And they highlight this because there are traits and characteristics that are used by this. Like there's a lack of empathy, and the core of the characteristic of the Joker, of who he is, demonstrates a callous and disregard for human life. And then grandiosity, his inflated sense of self importance, an exaggerated belief in his abilities. And he always sees himself as superior, believes in he's destined for like absolute greatness. And he also is deceitful with the manipulations, as a tendency to lie, con, and exploit others for his own personal gain. So the Joker is a master manipulator, and he uses his own, charisma, I guess you would say, and his own personality and the witty jokes to control everyone around him, basically. So he has a need for admiration. He has a constant issue with the need for attention and validation from others, and he thrives on chaos. So the relishing fear of admiration he inspires. So, and then I just think it's very interesting because he has the borderline personality disorder traits like emotional instability, unstable relationships, and his impulsivity and fear of abandonments. And then lastly, the other considerations would be childhood trauma, social isolation, and the clown prince of crime persona. at some point the Joker embraced this persona, and its embracement of chaos as a result of his sociopathic point of view. So I thought that was very interesting. But thank you so much. You have a good one.